Good.
All right. How are you today?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing good, doing good. How about you?
Well, I'm doing fine, but sometimes I lose some confidence. I mean, I still have my, how can I say, my freedom in inside, but it's hard, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah,
But I get to it. I get to it eventually.
sure. Hey, I wanted to ask you about the voices that you hear.
Yeah.
Now, uh, are they like crystal clear with tone, and you can tell man, woman, this sort of thing? What
Well,
is it like?
they are crystal clear, but I start from the concept that they they don't really have a gender, so they can like switch to woman or man, and sometimes it can be different entities playing the same person. So
Uh-huh.
it's like a cloud of different person playing one entity or different ones, depending of their intentions and what they want to say, like at the moment. But in the end, it just you have to consider them as one entity.
Yeah, and I was asking more from a not if it was male or female, but does the sound of the voice sound? Can you
Oh, the
tell the
sound.
difference? Yeah, does it sound like a male
Yeah,
voice sometimes and a female voice sometimes?
yeah. It sounds like a male voice, a female, even a kid
Uh-huh.
voice,
Yeah,
or no dude voice. You know.
sure. Okay. Next question. Um, in can you hear music? Like if you hear a song on the radio, can you play it back in your head, or can you recall conversations that you've had with real people in the real world, and it plays in your head in clear voices?
Well, right now I cannot do it. I cannot do it because they hijack it. Like if I try to remember a music or even a conversation, it's like instead of hearing the real conversation, I hear their voices.
Mm-hmm.
And for the music, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. But they repeat it all the time. It's like every single music I listen to. I'm a big fan of music of different types, different genres, but I cannot remember the music, but they can repeat it. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, but it will play in your head, and you can hear the music and the tones and notes and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
But I have a hunch that maybe one of these beings, or even a being external to their cluster, is maybe sabotaging every session. It doesn't mean that the session don't work, and that every spiritual work that is done isn't effective. It's not that. It's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that um, they are like reducing the effects of each spiritual work and making parasiting last too long. Like I don't know how to say it in another way.
does it
It's just
seem does it seem like they're sabotaging it in such a way that you don't get a good effect during the
yeah.
session, or is you don't after you get a good effect during the session, after the session it goes away real fast? Which way is there one way or the
It
other?
it doesn't go away. Every session that I had with you and with Aquila were effective, but it's like they should be more effective than what I perceive, and it's like they're reducing the effect and like if you have all the benefit that the session should give me aren't necessarily shown. Like I cannot see all the benefits, and they're like taking some part of it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Um, I was curious about that just before we started session, so I wanted to ask you that. But bigger picture, is there anything in particular you would like us to focus on or address, or a few possibilities, and we can kind of get a read for it?
Well, I have put that in different categories like last time, but I added some different ones and some different points to address. But the first one is to see if what I just said is right. Like, can you check if there is a being or a group of beings that are trying to mess up with the all this, not all the sessions, but all the aftermath of the sessions.
Hmm.
Is it possible for you guys?
Yeah, yeah, we can address that right now. We can look into that right now.
Yeah, and after that, like I said in the email, I put all the issues to address in two categories: the physical and the mental. But there are less issues than last time, because I don't trying to go all over the place, because if I talk too much, I have the impression that we will be like directed in bad direct in negative direction, and like the session won't be as effective as it should be.
Hmm.
So here are the issues for the physical. Like I said last time, the chakras, they're playing with my chakras and the bladder, but these specific chakras, not all the chakras. They're playing with my movements, and it's like last time, every time I move, like for example, I move my arm, they move it too, and when they move it, they put a negative thought in order to irritate me.
Yeah.
Like I can stay calm when they do that, but in the end, they bombard my mind so much that sometimes I get angry, and there is some possession, sorry, of my body parts sometimes. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's still annoying. Like, well, the images on my eyes, and some orgasms when I'm asleep, like they're playing with my genitals, and you know.
Yeah.
But it's related to my chakras, I think. And for the mental parasiting, well, they are bombarding my mind with too much thoughts to make me lose focus, like we said last time.
Yeah.
But I've worked on it like a little bit. I've seen some positive effects for myself. Like I can organize my mind in a way that I don't lose too much time during the days, because they like doing it. They like doing, like, forcing you to lose a lot of time, to be all over the place every time, and to not being focused on what you can do to improve yourself,
Yeah.
and what you can do to make you feel more pleasurable during the day. For example, doing your hobbies, or I don't know, listening to music training, in for example, drawings, doing poetry. I mean, I even got back to some hobbies that I like abandoned some years ago, like poetry and even infographic training. What else? Well, the last thing is that they're trying to manipulate my mind to make me fall asleep easier and tire me. It's like they're putting my mind under anesthesia. And this is the same method that they use to make me forget things. Like when I think about something, for example, if I think about going to the kitchen and taking or whatever a plate, if I'm in my bedroom and I have the intention to go down the stairs and reach the kitchen, when I have reached the kitchen, they it's like I've totally forgotten what I came for. And this is because during the like when I'm for example when I reach the kitchen, it's like they are putting my mind under sleep, a part of my mind under sleep, to make me lose focus of what I had, lose the intention of what I had in mind. It's like they are putting one part of your mind under sleep, and the other is awake, but not as awake as it should be. They are like playing with your consciousness in some
Yeah.
way,
Uh huh.
and it's really irritating.
Yeah.
That's why I put a lot of notes and like a lot of memos and some things like that around, like in my bedroom and so on, to not forget what I have to do. I do that every day, and it has helped me a lot.
Okay. All right, I think we have enough now to look into some areas.
All right.
Um, look, you can look through. This is what I've
Mm.
seen the reads are
Yeah.
on. Do you have some areas to you get a sense and feel?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Agvila is all ready to go. She's tuned in, and
All
we're
right.
and we'll start, and I'll guide her.
All right. Well, as usual, I'm going to note things to work on it after.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did you want to tell me what you're going to look at, or are you going to look at what to look at, and you're not sure what to look
Yeah,
at?
second way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Start. Hmm.
Okay, so I guess I can share what I found so far. I was scanning your body, and I'm seeing like a bigger cluster in your head. Like those are the entities that have like more of an effect, like where they can talk more, have more control over you, and like mess with you. But at the same time, these entities they're trying to imitate you, and so they're gathering all in one cluster to make
Yes.
up like a second you. So there's two Chris's, you and entities, and they're pretending to be you. And with all that, these entities are more like trying to pretend that they're you, so they can communicate with other beings, and they have an open channel with the world of like succubus and incubus. There's over 1 million of them over there, and they're like, hey, we want you come over here, like let's play, let's have fun and stuff. So that fake part of you, which is like all entities, they're inviting the succubus to come in, like play with you like all night long or like whenever, and they can drain you, suck out the energy of you, like they can talk to you, mess with you, and it's just like very strong connection. And that part of you is basically imitating you. It's like almost like as conscious as you, so it can sometimes be overwhelming and take over the files, like delete, like they don't like, oh, Chris starting to think that way, and they shut off your file, they like shut off your
Yeah.
movements, and they start like controlling you. Like that second part of you is like a more like fake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Well,
Yes, that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm following. Okay, you got more work to do on that?
Yeah, like I just like found out like what's going on, like so like the bigger picture, and I can like start doing some work on it, like removing them and all, or
Mm-hmm.
having conversations, looking for the like leaders or whatever.
Yeah, you're doing a great job of getting really good reads.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so it seems like right now, like the leader of these entities, like they're like talk, like all constantly talking, inviting succubus and nurse. It's like Beelzebub, or however you would call it. Like,
Beelzebub.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the being like demonic ones, and he's the one like in control of like or like trying to mess with like lots of different planets and realms in the multiverse, and Earth is just one of those places like where he
Yeah.
can do his own games and stuff. And he has like lots of people where he invites entities to mess with them, and like entities like come over like and start like behaving like, or like they just come in and they just watch the person, and they're like, oh, we're gonna copy everything, and then start like doing like similar actions to the point where they make a copy of the beingness and then start amplifying their own like personalities and different things. And
Yeah.
they have their own thinking, like all the like different urges, sensations, feeling states, and different things, to the point where they're acting as you, and they can use your voice or your intentions or your personality to start inviting other beings. Like hey, let's just like open up, like to the succubus, like let's do this and that, and they're the ones like basically. Beelzebub is using like these entities to connect with succubus and different things to like mess with people. So he's just like creating a loop where these entities will like mess with the person, like attract other entities and beings, and just like create a loop of never-ending like suffering or control of different things.
Yes.
Good. Good. Really good reads too. Really strong.
Okay, so I'll try dealing with him.
Okay.
And also another thing, like I noticed, like these entities, like once I notice them, it's if like they're programmed, like oh, if noticed, then run away, like home. And so like I was looking for them, like after like I noticed them, and then like I noticed Beelzebub. I like, looked like, again too, and like I couldn't find these entities, and like it's if like they all ran away to hide behind. I'm like, oh, let's see what happens, you know. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. You nailed it. That's it. Okay, continue. Mm-hmm.
All right.
What happened?
Yeah, like digesting it all.
Yeah.
Where should I start? So it's stuff like that. Beelzebub. How do you say his name?
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
Yeah, Beelzebub or Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
What he said.
So basically, he creates a sort of like a portal, like a mirror, like world, and all these entities that like are messing with you and creating false part of you. They're like mimicking you, and then they take that part and they make
Yeah,
a copy in that mirror world. So whenever you have things that you don't want, you don't like, and everything that like oh, I don't want this to happen to me. I wish this would stop. They're listening all the time, and in that world, they will use you, like because they're faking to be you to attract the stuff that you don't want. So if you want that, like like succubus to stop messing with you, if you want the chat rooms to stop, they're like, oh, we can do that, and they do the opposite, and then that person is like being messed with, like the fake part, like attracts style, but you feel the effects. So that's like one little thing. I was like getting rid of the Beelzebub, like like using the golden shackles to like get him out of there and like take out all of the entities from you and just the whole system, like all of that he had. But
yeah,
also like I noticed uh, like they can be inside you or like like just be with you and they're playing like very silent. They're like sneaky. So when I'm close or like when I'm like looking at them, it's as if like they stop breathing and they pretend to be dead, like just like waiting
yeah,
until like it's all over. And so basically, when you're doing process on yourself, they can like pretend like oh like let's see what he's doing, and they're pretending to be dead and not there when actually they're just like listening in and making plans of what are they gonna do after you finish your process and how can they counteract what you were just doing right now. So like I was getting rid of that and there's just lots and lots and lots.
Wow. Okay. Is there
Um,
more? Do you want to look in there and do more, or you want to talk about it some
um,
more?
yeah, it's like for like as far as like the Beelzebub and the Zandies go, I was like sort of like removing all of that, and like yeah, the thing I forgot to mention is if like the Zandies, they can like it's like take a photo of you in any kind of situation or action or whatever. Like they can like take a
yeah,
photo of your room when you're sleeping, and they take that part and recreate that in their own little realm, where they use that as like, oh, this is our room where we're gonna play, and they keep inviting entities and different beings. So for example, you go to sleep, they take the photo of or like that they copy that moment in life and put it in their realm. And that's where
yeah.
like like they can invite succubus and different beings to mess with that body and you still feel the effects of that. So I was like removing like lots of those different parts.
Oh, it's crazy. They can, so they recreate like a part of me.
Yeah,
For example, when I'm, yeah, a moment, like an instant when I'm going to sleep, for example, and they mess with it. Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. Another thing, like like a part where,
Fucking insane. That's what it is. But it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just saying.
Yeah,
yeah, another part like that basically Beelzebub with entities, they're like usually coming over when people want help or something. Like feeling lonely, for example. They're like, oh, we can make sure that you're never lonely. And you're like, oh, I want to learn. I have curiosity. And you're like, we can fill you up with information. Doesn't matter what kind. And they just can keep selling you like talkers who are gonna inform you of absolutely everything, every single thought that they have, everything that they see in the environment and whatever. But it's
yeah.
not exactly what you want. So like, if they see those urges, they're like more have an invitation to come and stuff. It's also getting rid of all that stuff, but there's plenty. What are your thoughts, Rich?
What what Christian said.
Well, this really rings a bell because, like, recently I felt lonely. You know, you're in your own shit, and you have to manage it some way. And I think that this is something I have to work on, like feeling less lonely and like, for example, like maybe talking more on your community, for example, your Discord or even on your YouTube comment section. Because I have the tendency to keep my problems for myself, and this is one of the key elements that had put me in that kind of situation. Like keeping everything for yourself, even your all the big issues in your life, and in the end you're in that feeling state when you're always saying I'm lonely. I could like share it to someone. I wish I could be. I wish, and in the end, they're like, yeah, you wish, and we can realize whatever you want, man. This is something I have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to take another look, and was there more to work on in that specific area, or?
Well, I get rid of the entities. I can look for more soul constructs and get rid of them, and then just find missing soul aspects. They really got like lots of parts of you, so I'll target that as well.
Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. That right in there. Wow, that's some wild stuff. Whatever you're looking
Yeah,
at.
like the agreement of needing help,
Yeah.
getting stuff.
Uh-huh. Probably should be a little more clear on what kind of help and
Yeah.
from who. Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's like a big conditioning that I created for in my own head.
Yeah.
I have to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. That, what is that? That's huge.
Yeah, I'm looking at like some parts of you, like when those entities came and started copying you, it's like they took like half of you or like even more and just isolated that. So like you don't even have your true self, or like not like your true self, but like what really filled you up and made you like feel like
Yeah.
not that lonely, but like like just really comfortable with who you are, like and then how you are, and like just like really good feeling state.
Yeah.
They just took it away, and like now they're gonna take that part and like, oh, we're gonna stay here for a while. So I'm looking at the parts that you've lost, and there's plenty.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Wait, I have a question. Like the fact that they took, is it related to traumas? Because of course I had traumas in my teenagehood, but is it related only on traumas or also past life, like we said last time?
Past is also included. Like it's all over the place, really.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they used to do that a lot, and they're probably still doing it out there, uh, where they'll catch a being and then they can split them. They call it
yeah,
It's called a haver, Halver. Uh, when you cut something in half,
yeah,
it's a haver, and they just chop the being in half basically with electronic stuff and
yeah,
energy beams and things like that. So it could be that you're feeling lonely for yourself, your other part of yourself.
yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Like the part that I lost, it's like I feel empty because of that. I
It's,
get it.
uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So go look for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big time.
Pretty much. I'm like looking at the parts that like they're taking away, and it's not just you. Like I just like looking at the. It's as if like the Beelzebub and like these goons, they're playing doctors, and
Yeah,
they cut out a part and they like, oh, let's put this one, and they're like simply like replacing parts with what they want people to have. And I'm
yeah,
looking like like where did those parts go? So I teleported the place, and it's just like it's like massive prison, except there are no differences between the jails, and like there's just like miles and miles to every single direction with like tons of beings who like got split and like now they're like in prison and they
yeah,
cannot escape. It's like sort of electric like thing that holds them together, and like they just cannot escape anywhere. And there's like
yeah.
millions of these, so like I'm like
Wow.
something to free.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about it, Rich? Like, do you have any advices for me, like last time?
Uh, yeah. Well, she's got some more scanning to do. Uh, you want to do that? Want me to wait until you're done,
Oh, it's okay, it's okay.
or you can scan while we're doing
Yeah,
this, or
yeah, you can talk.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, uh, be, in the multiverse,
yeah,
just like here on Earth, there are billions and billions and billions of ants, and we are a bigger, more aware entity than an ant.
yeah,
And we'll do anything we want with ants if we're into experimenting with ants and stuff. And, oh, how smart are these ants? Well,
yeah,
it's like there are other big beings that are messing with humanity in this way. So she just found a reservoir or a stronghold of
yeah,
where these kinds of bigger entities are messing with spirit beings like ourselves, and they will take our consciousness and they'll half it.
split it.
They'll split it
Yeah,
in half. And there's more than one way to do that. There's but the way she's talking, it's more like you're splitting right brain, left brain, this kind of split.
yeah,
And so half of you is gone, so to speak, in spirit. And so she's found a containment facility where the bad boys have been holding us in electronic grid work, uh, holding those parts of us. Uh, for balance, there's a lot of us everywhere, and we're doing a lot of great things in other realms and stuff. It's not
yeah.
all being a victim, but we are clearing up the negativity stuff, so we're not really tapping into our greatness when we do
Yes.
this kind of work right now. We're tapping into how bad it's been and what's happened to us. So
Yeah, like we're tapping to one specific aspect of ourselves.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That.
Yeah, so I'll just inform a little bit about the work I'm doing. I get rid of there, what you call like a stronghold, like where all those like beings are being held. So I made like little channels that would separate each of them to the people that they belong to, so that they wouldn't get mashed all over the place. And
Yeah.
I was like also tracking back to the point like in the previous session we were talking about the Lurens getting attacked by Marduk and how you got splintered and like positive aspects of you were taken away. So I found like this part of you that had this photographic memory. It's like like perfect memory, whatever you see stays with you and you can access it anytime. And it seems like it's in one of the spaceships. I don't know like where specifically it is, but like a reptilians grays are in it. Like also a few Arcturians and different just like a big spaceship and stuff. And it seems like that part of you of like consciousness with photographic memory is being used in one of their computers and servers, and they're like basically shoving information, making you memorize it all, and it's basically being used against its own will. It's like there's a
Yes.
machine that will suppress and numb down the being to the point where they like basically succumb and do everything that they want that part of you to do. So it's
Yes.
not like even recognizing that it's free or can be free or like that it ever was with you. It was just like, oh, I'm a computer. Okay, I'll just do whatever they tell. So I found that part of you, and I'll get it back to you and like destroy the ship or whatever, and look for some more parts that maybe I've like didn't see in the last session. Also, another part like seems like these guys it's just like they can take like lots of aspects of consciousness,
Yes.
and if we imagine like the sun or like the core of Earth, like that, like basically fireball. I'm looking at their ship, and there's like this core, like an engine and stuff, but it's basically all consciousness in this like spherical form that prevents them from getting out, and they're like all mashed up, and they're all like sort of don't have their memories. They think like it's all one being when it's not, and basically these like dark forces are using the consciousness to power up their system, power up the spaceship, use their elements of oh well, like these bad guys have to go and fly with the ship, but the consciousness can create a wormhole and teleport them, so let's use that. And like they're making use the consciousness to like create these wrap gates or different things to like help out with the travel, with the memories, because like they can create a computer, but consciousness can store all information without ever like
Yeah.
needing system and stuff. So that's another part like where I'm splitting. There's tons. It's part of you, part of other beings, part of the other lyrics that were attacked, and it's like all merged and like put in different like sections of their system and stuff. So pretty harsh.
It is.
Yeah, it's some difficult stuff for real. So it seems like another part of you that I'm looking for was taken by the other alliance, and like it's basically it's like a point of view consciousness like floating in the void, and there's a spaceship going, and hey, what are you doing here? Like we need one of you here, like so take the body, and so they take your consciousness and put it in one of the cloned bodies. So now that part like has a like physical body,
Yeah.
and in that plane it's all in the 5D, and basically like it's a big war. You're in the alliance of like Zeta Alliance, like that's the name that popped up. So I'm like, okay, let's just go with that.
Can you repeat it? Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't really get the word.
yeah.
You
So
said
it's called the Zeta Alliance.
Yeah.
And basically that part of you is just playing like it's probably the light forces and it's like playing with them, and their enemies are like just some weird mutation between like humanoid beings, plants, and fungus. Like it's a mutation of free.
Just when we
Crazy.
thought it was
Yeah.
getting bad, it just got worse. Okay, I want to hear more about this humanoid plant fungus mutation thing. It sounds like a horror flick.
Yeah, pretty much.
The universe is big. Really big.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
It's
interrupt.
okay. Yeah, like reminds me of the game like The Last of Us, where they like had those like zombie like fungus things, like so similar to that, like some sort of like the combination of free, and they're like the like dark forces, and what they're doing is like basically they're creating the holographic reality in the 5D, where like they can look at like, oh, there's a realm here and there, but in that it's like a Bermuda Triangle or something, where they have all the stuff mapped out and they create a portal, but it's a one-way ticket. And so they're trying to trap beings from the 5D to go to the portal, and they end up in the physical universe, and there's no coming back, no way back.
Wow.
And so basically the part of you that got took, like now you're a grunt, and all the bodies they have sort of like a collar that keeps the consciousness in the body. So until the collar is destroyed, the conscious cannot get out, and like you're made to play in the war to fight against them. And like hey, don't run out now, like we need you, sort of like it's like a sort of crucial war or whatever. But like it's crazy, like watching all that, I'm like, what the fuck. So weird stuff going on.
Yeah, it's a really hardcore reads. I mean, just really fucking.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, really. You hardly ever see them. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can look into more. Like I said, I just like found like I'm just like looking at like what's happening, but like I can try freeing that part of you and like maybe stopping the war or something, or destroying the portals, because so there's some shit going on down there.
Yeah, yeah. Look into some, if you can, while you're in there
Uh-huh.
looking at that stuff. Some agreements or decisions that Christian might have made
Yeah.
to be floating out there in space to be a target in the first place.
Yeah.
Kind of like, where did it all
It's-
start?
Oh, it's more like after the war, like Lawrence versus Marduk. Like Marduk explodes part of you, and now like all those like fragmented parts like go into different places, because like
Yeah.
it's a massive like explosion. So like part of you end up in those prisons, like when they capture you. Another part like is in the ship. Another part end up like floating in the what, like where am I, where the fuck. And in that second, like there's a spaceship, like, oh, we need you, like come over, like so they just like take your consciousness and put you in the body, and now you cannot get out, like you're forced to play that war with whatever those beings are.
Yeah. Wow.
If that would answer your question.
Yeah, that worked pretty good. It's almost like it wasn't a decision. It was like a big bang, and it wasn't. It didn't. Anyway,
Pretty much, yeah.
could you grab that heater? It's a little hot
Yeah.
in here. It's getting a little hot in here. We'll turn the heater down.
But you're in California, so
Yeah.
it's always hotter right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
You
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so actually those portals and those like were like the whole war, I just like freed all the beings that like fighting the war. So like the consciousness goes back into their original place, and those other beings like just like vanished and stuff. And throughout it all, like I just like got this like very weird like ache in the chest, as if like someone's like really stabbed me and stuff. So I was like tracking that, and it seems like it's one of those like places where you jump in and you can do stuff, but the hole is like sinking in and you just cannot get out and stuff. So like part of me like like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? So they're trying to trap me and like imprison me, and I just like stop them. But it seems like it's working a lot like in lots of aspects. One is like trapping a being in the realm, but another one is like a astral rope, like like where they can tie a person and just like sort of like drag all their consciousness or like energy, like just drain them and like leave them in that numb dizzy zone. So I found a few like of their mechanisms that are doing that, and just got rid of it. So we'll see what that does.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for looking into
Sure.
that. How are you doing right now?
I think good.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Chris?
Uh, like I have to assimilate all these infos. Whoa, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, it's gonna be a thing like to like watch how you're like feeling and like what happens after the session, because like a lot of work was done, and it seems like all those aspects are like, like I got those aspects back, but they just need time to like sort of come back and feel like, like, hey, this is a safe place and they can be themselves again. So
Yeah,
we'll see. A big read like, or like a big sense like I got like when I got that back, when I got the part of you that has that photographic memory, like like it's as if like a cell or like a little crab tying up to something and like, holding on like really tight. So that part like really grabbed on really tight to you. So we'll see if that helps.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Isn't there even any single like fragment of myself that is aware, or are they all unaware of my existence? Because when we lose these aspects, isn't there even any single one, even the tiniest aspect that is aware of our existence, or is it just fractured all over the place, and they like every aspect always forget about our own existence?
Well,
I mean,
from
here,
from what I've scanned, like or the ones I found, like regarding you, like a lot of them knew you, and they're like, hey,
yeah,
like we need to come back, but they were prevented from that, like they were being held down. So a lot of times it's both. Like some of them are get split and like lose their memories or different things. Other times they're just being held back and like they can't go back because they're prevented from
yeah.
that. And what are your
So
thoughts,
even
Rich?
Yeah,
sorry,
my thoughts on that are like, if you have another aspect of yourself, some people would call it an over self or a higher self.
yeah,
I just I call it another another part of you, and maybe
yeah,
it has a greater awareness and knowing and understanding of things. But if you were a fragment of that, it's like the question becomes, uh, the ones that fragmented from you and gone somewhere, do they know you exist? And can they talk to you and can you talk to them? It's the same as if you are trying right now in your room, right there, trying to talk to another aspect of yourself. And it's asking, hey, does he know I exist? Does he want to come back to me? Uh, what's going on with this aspect of myself that is not coming back to me?
yeah,
And you could look at yourself, well, I don't know you're there. I've forgotten our connection. And
yeah,
so it can be the same with many of the aspects that broke off from you. It's a very similar phenomenon. So here's the thing: if you would like your other aspects to come back to you,
yes,
if what can you do to help them? You can invite them in, you can awaken to the possibility that they exist, even if you can't see them or feel them,
yeah,
but you sense that there's a part of me that is a loving part or a courageous part. I invite you back here. I will, welcome you. And then you can look the other direction of a greater self or another part of you and be open to that communication. Maybe there's a part of me out there that is inviting me back.
but
And
I'm not aware of it. Yeah,
exactly. So you can just, it takes take take that into consideration and then work it. Imagine that, yeah, there is a part of me that would love me to come back, and I am open to it. And however you choose or determine to be open to connecting with your greater self, you can imagine that, and that can transmit to your other smaller aspects of self or other parts of you, and they will feel it because they are you are them,
yes,
and they can pick this up, and they could do what you're doing to connect with your greater self. They can start going, oh, I just had a thought. I could do, and they could reach for you.
all right.
Okay.
I know that it's not really related, but like recently you posted a video about something of that kind. about the oversoul. Like you went on ranting about the oversoul. You were really, and it really rang like exactly the same thing as what you talked about. Like we lose our connection with our other aspect, our bigger aspect, or not bigger, but more conscious
Yeah.
aspects of ourselves,
Yeah.
and we feel like we're lonely or lost, or it's exactly that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you explained it like in a more clear way.
Oh well, thank you. I must have. It must have been my other higher conscious self talking here.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say or even add about what she saw?
um, well, yeah, she just tapped into some really hardcore stuff. I've never uh, seen it or felt the reaction so
Yeah.
strongly before. So she is like really in there duking it out and fighting for you, and that's some hardcore stuff. It really, it shakes the consciousness and it moves the energy dynamics of her physical body
Yeah.
very rapidly. It's like electronic stuff going on real fast within her system. So I could tell it was real. It was a real battle there. Did it feel like a real battle
I mean, like,
sometimes?
there's a war going on. Like, literally, like, if you like space opera, one side is all like spaceships and people, like, with physical bodies, and they're gonna fight. Another side is like some weird mutated fungus, plant, humanoid beings that are like can like spread spore to cause hallucinations and cause you to go to different realities. And they're creating like this holographic realms where it's like a portal to Earth or like the physical plane, and they cannot come back and stuff. So there's like real shit going on there, like crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
What a deal.
But I know that in the end I'll be free. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I start with that intention, like no nothing is gonna stop me.
Yeah.
I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see like what happens because like removing that like Beelzebub with entities and like all of them like what if it like like lots of things stop like it'll be interesting to see how the changes happen or if anything happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in any way, I will keep in touch. I can even like email you about the evolution, about
That would be good.
even new thoughts that I had. Like maybe if I have some realization or even some interesting thing to talk to you about.
You bet. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking forward to it. Keep us updated on any changes you notice
Yeah.
as well. Hmm.
And also like if the new things pop up it's like something new in your environment or any like new thoughts and stuff, uh, just let us know.
Yeah. Well, as usual, thank you very much, and I'm grateful. I'm
Oh.
really grateful. Like to be able to talk to you, to be able to have not only sessions, but to like you even answered my email, Rich, like recently. To be able to exchange like opinions and different point of views. For example, about the not only my situation, but also the whole. I mean, like the big situation on this planet about the Anunnaki, Igigu or Igigi,
Yeah,
what
Iggy,
it
yeah.
stands for.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm really grateful for that.
Hey, Christian, it's always a pleasure working with you. And
Yeah,
my thoughts are that uh, the big beings on this planet are the ones that are being targeted, and most hardcore battles are going on in these inner realms or other realms and
yeah,
stuff. And so it looks to me like you got a whole lot going for you and have for a very long time. So they're
Yeah.
just they they're after your ass. That's the thing.
and in French we have an expression like you. It's like you're having like the old like all the old plates and all the old shit that you assimilated for years and years and aeons, and you have to sort of like get rid of that in one incarnation, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's a lot of spiritual work, and
Mm,
it takes a lot of courage also.
yeah.